How y'all doing out there?
We're doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Now I want to lay out some ground rules. First, I got one rule. Don't bore me. I won't bore you. Right.
Okay.
So I like to do my workshops and my things a little different. I like to be interactive and I like to be transparent because if we're interacting, that means we can keep each other's attention. And by being transparent, I want to be as real with you as possible that I possibly can be because I don't want to put you in a situation where you wind up going somewhere and you say, well, yeah, Jarvis said do it like this, but Jarvis wasn't being transparent or real with me, and you use the same method and it winds up biting you in your foot, right? So I got this. Someone once posed a question to me, and they asked me, what was the biggest thing that you learned in life? And off the top of my head, I told them, you learn more through failure than you ever will possibly learn through success. Because failure is going to take you to a place that you're low. Failure is going to take you to a place where you want to quit. Failure is going to take you to a place where you don't even believe in yourself. Failure is going to take you to a place where you have no confidence, no hope, and you really can't imagine or you can't see past this next day and you don't know how you're going to make it. But see, what they didn't tell you about failure, on the other side of failure, the healing side, the growing side, the productive side of failure, once you embrace it and address it head on, what it'll do for you. Like when you embrace failure and you say, "Oh, I got hit," and you put your hand down on that ground like you a fighter in a fight, like you Mike Tyson, and you get knocked down to the ground and you putting your hand down and you want everything in you says quit, but you put your hand down on that ground because something on the inside of you said, I can't give up. I put too much work in. I put too much time into my craft to give up. And you just build that strength and you find a way, you don't know how, but you just next thing you know, you standing on your feet and you wondering, how did I get there? But failure taught you, like, yeah, this is my moment. I work my butt out for this. And no matter what comes my way, like no matter how hard things get, as long as I don't quit, I will always have room to grow. Always have room to grow. Now, I'm different than most speakers. Most speakers, they want to come here and they want to talk over your head and they want to say, hey, go and be great just like me. I don't want to tell you to be great like me. I want to help you deal with things that can possibly block you off and, keep you from going to where you need to go. Now, before COVID came, we didn't talk about mental health. We didn't talk about depression and anxiety and the effects of these things to us. But when COVID came, it made us stop and we wanted to look in the mirror and we wanted to examine ourselves and wonder, like, hey, like, man, why am I feeling this way? But guys, I grew up in a society and I grew up in an era where it says, hey, if you're a man, you don't cry. You keep it in, no matter how hard it is. You grew up, your mom hear you cry. Shut up, stop crying. Like those were the things I hear. So I was a broken individual from a young age. And I was broken because I was never able to express how I felt on the inside. So I just got one quick question for you guys. When you hear the word trauma, I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that word trauma.
Hurt.
Okay, that's good. What else?
Pain.
Pain, good, good. What else?
Fear.
Fear. What else?
Accident.
Okay, okay. Great, great. Now, when we talk about trauma, you talked about accidents, you talked about physicals, you pretty much talked about everything that trauma constitutes as, you pretty much says that. So my life has been nothing but trauma. From being a little kid who had dad issues, from watching violence, I've seen people get killed. I've seen people get stabbed. And when I was 17 years old, the judge told me in the courtroom, Jarvis Jones, we hereby sentence you to 15 years for simple armed robbery. Like, I was traumatized by all of those events and I was never able to express my trauma. And what happens was, it's like you got a pitcher and you continue to pour water in there. And if you pour all this water in there, eventually the water will start overflowing. And see, when it overflows into other areas of your life, which means you may have an issue that you've been dealing with for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and it's gotten so bad till it has to flow in another area of your life, whether it's school, whether it's home, whether it's with your significant other, whether it's with your friends, whether it's with your families. Like, you don't take your anger or your pressure or your frustrations out on the necessary problem, because you were never taught to address that. Now, when you learn to address that, because during this workshop, see, I want to teach you how to address those internal issues. And see, because I don't want you to grow up and be in a situation or be in a space that your emotions just got out of control and they got the best of you, and you start seeking validation from friends because you want to be accepted, because this trauma you feeling on the inside is causing you to have low self-esteem, and you want to go out and seek things from people that you know that don't even have your best interests at heart. So when we talk about trauma,